host. Always downplaying, but he puts in the work, never swaying. Grim after dark, where humor's intended. Adult jokes and game shows never relented. Danny's got a cunning mark, always on the fly. Val's tongue-in-cheek while Dickie takes the pie. Danny's competitive, always on the grind, while Val's humor sharp, leaving no one behind. Ted Priest Dickie, the light-hearted one, but jokes aside, he's always having fun. Grim after dark, where humor's intended. Adult jokes and game shows never relented. Danny's got a cunning mark, always on the fly. Val's tongue-in-cheek while Dickie takes the pie. Grim after dark, the podcast that never sleeps, making fun of the internet with laughter that creeps. Where Warhammer 40K meets Snark, Charles the host. Always downplaying, but he puts in the work, never swaying. Grim after dark, where humor's intended. Adult jokes and game shows never relented. Danny's got a cunning mark, always on the fly. Val's tongue-in-cheek while Dickie takes the pie. Danny's competitive, always on the grind, while Val's humor sharp, leaving no one behind. Ted Priest Dickie, the light-hearted one, but jokes aside, he's always having fun. Grim after dark, where humor's intended. Adult jokes and game shows never relented. Danny's got a cunning mark, always on the fly. Val's tongue-in-cheek while Dickie takes the pie. Grim after dark, the podcast that never sleeps, making fun of the internet with laughter that creeps. Sean, Danny, Val, and Dickie too. Tune in for the humor's in the work, never swaying. Grim after dark, where humor's intended. Adult jokes and game shows never relented. Danny's got a cunning mark, always on the fly. Val's tongue-in-cheek while Dickie takes the pie. Danny's competitive, always on the grind, while Val's humor sharp, leaving no one behind. Ted Priest Dickie, the light-hearted one, but jokes aside, he's always having fun. Grim after dark, where humor's intended. Adult jokes and game shows never relented. Danny's got a cunning mark, always on the fly. Val's tongue-in-cheek while Dickie takes the pie. Grim after dark, the podcast that never sleeps, making fun of the internet with laughter that creeps. Sean, Danny, Val, and Dickie too. Tune in for the humor's in the work, never swaying. Grim after dark, where humor's intended. Adult jokes and game shows never relented. Danny's got a cunning mark, always on the fly. Val's tongue-in-cheek while Dickie takes the pie. Danny's competitive, always on the grind, while Val's humor sharp, leaving no one behind. Ted Priest Dickie, the light-hearted one, but jokes aside, he's always having fun. Grim after dark, where humor's intended. Adult jokes and game shows never relented. Danny's got a cunning mark, always on the fly. Val's tongue-in-cheek while Dickie takes the pie. Grim after dark, the podcast that never sleeps, making fun of the internet with laughter that creeps. Sean, Danny, Val, and Dickie too. Tune in for the humor's in the work, never swaying. Grim after dark, where humor's intended. Adult jokes and game shows never relented. Danny's got a cunning mark, always on the fly. Val's tongue-in-cheek while Dickie takes the pie. Danny's competitive, always on the grind, while Val's humor sharp, leaving no one behind. Ted Priest Dickie, the light-hearted one, but jokes aside, he's always having fun. Grim after dark, where humor's intended. Adult jokes and game shows never relented. Danny's got a cunning mark, always on the fly. Val's tongue-in-cheek while Dickie takes the pie. Grim after dark, the podcast that never sleeps, making fun of the internet with laughter that creeps. Sean, Danny, Val, and Dickie too. Tune in for the humor's in the work, never swaying. Grim after dark, where humor's intended. Adult jokes and game shows never relented. Danny's got a cunning mark, always on the fly. Val's tongue-in-cheek while Dickie takes the pie. Danny's competitive, always on the grind, while Val's humor sharp, leaving no one behind. Ted Priest Dickie, the light-hearted one, but jokes aside, he's always having fun. Grim after dark, where humor's intended. Adult jokes and game shows never relented. Danny's got a cunning mark, always on the fly. Val's tongue-in-cheek while Dickie takes the pie. Grim after dark, the podcast that never sleeps, making fun of the internet with laughter that creeps. Sean, Danny, Val, and Dickie too. Tune in for the humor's in the work, never swaying. Grim after dark, where humor's intended. Adult jokes and game shows never relented. Danny's got a cunning mark, always on the fly. Val's tongue-in-cheek while Dickie takes the pie. Danny's competitive, always on the grind, while Val's humor sharp, leaving no one behind. Ted Priest Dickie, the light-hearted one, but jokes aside, he's always having fun. Grim after dark, where humor's intended. Adult jokes and game shows never relented. Danny's got a cunning mark, always on the fly. Val's tongue-in-cheek while Dickie takes the pie. Grim after dark, the podcast that never sleeps, making fun of the
Games Workshop's basement. Hosted by John Quennell, Danny McDevitt, Val Heffelfinger. I'm Dickie, and it's Game After Dark.
Man, the mispronunciation of my name every time, it gets me. It's beautiful, though. Obviously, done live every week and not recorded, so we can't change it. Welcome to Game After Dark, Warhammer's only late-night show for some reason. My name is John, and we are here to misinform and entertain as we talk about the goings-on over the last week in the world of Games Workshop. This week, we look at the worst the internet has to offer, and after leaving Games Workshop, being gate-capped out of Trench Crusade, we develop a game for chuds where they can feel safe with their terrible, terrible, terrible views. We're going to cap it all off with what one commentator described as the wonderful cherry on top of a fun show. Yet another eBay prices redacted. True comment, by the way. You should go look at last week. You should do that anyway. But before we go on, let's meet the team who make it all possible. First up, it's the co-host with the co-most all the way from Moscow, Idaho. He puts the law in White Claw, our competitive champ, Danny McDevitt.
Fantastic. Nice one, dude. I like that.
Thank you. Yeah, that felt good. And then we had a positive YouTube comment, which is a shiny diamond.
What? No, we didn't. That's
No,
a lie.
did. He said because I was mean about eBay prices redacted last week and saying that it was like wearing itself into the ground and people who jumped to his defense. Speaking of jumping to defense, he's the man behind the Iron Curtain of Canada. He's a world eater, not a world beater. He's a Canadian coach, American sympathizer, and Con Crud champion.
Oh, God.
Dickie.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, we got Face Dickie as well.
We get the whole shebang this week.
You got the Bono glasses. You got the gravelly, terrible voice.
Mm-hmm.
You got like a half motivated Dickie right now.
Yeah. Well, things this show and my wife have been gone.
I have a question, John.
Yeah.
How does that terrible announcer? I need to get him on the phone. How does he pronounce your name?
Quennell.
What did he say?
Quennell.
Oh,
there's an R in there for some reason, but leave it because at this
this
point,
is I would like
just
to,
lore, and
it's
and
lore.
If you change it, then it's going to deeply offend and hurt a lot of people who watch this show. Mr. A, no Heffelfinger, no deal. That's fair.
Sorry, brother. I tried.
Val is resting up after he tells us moving a literal ton of bricks. He returned to Home Depot, which I'm sure really annoyed the Home Depot return person who had to count him.
They had to count every one. That's, and also as part, so, it's like an anti-shoplifting thing. They have to lift up each of those bricks and actually move them
to make sure
they're not like plastic.
Yeah.
He does have a 3D printer and a gross amount of resin. Maybe that he just came across the ultimate money-making scheme of just printing bricks. Hollow masonry bricks, and Toronto's housing is just unsafer because of it.
He's inflating Toronto housing prices with his brickwork.
Brick by brick.
And all of them, just terrible resin. Anyway, comment of the week time, and someone did we could not, and they gave some feedback. We don't do feedback very well. I never remove the Spider-Man picture. It keeps showing up. I don't know where it's from. But this one is aimed at our wonderful yet slightly sick tech priest. Dickie, it says, it's really nice of you guys to honor war veterans with that extended moment of silence during each of your bumpers. So now, the problem is, I think what happened here is the audio wasn't on for the bumpers. But I feel now, if you put the audio on for the bumpers, you're now disrespecting veterans. Right. So I don't...
All the... Here, let's try one. Maybe...
Oh my God.
That was unbelievably loud.
It's a classic. It's a good one. Low effort, high volume. But Dickie, why do you feel you had to disrespect veterans at that moment by playing Sam?
As a member of the Canadian military, I do not want to discourage any member of any team / army / group.
Is that how Canadians are organized? It's organized into teams.
Yeah, we are the A team. We have the A team.
I was going to say maybe shirts and skins. Like, is that how you guys like? Do you scrimmage? like
jersey skins. Yeah.
Speaking of the military, though, I did want to share something that I've come around to this week. This is not necessarily Warhammer related, but could be. As this, where did you go? Oh no, it didn't come up. Never mind. It didn't come up with the right show and show my search bar. The portrait of King Charles, which is on my copy up here, but didn't come up here. It's a fantastic and wonderful and terrifying image that we'll get back to. Dickie, play a silent bumper and we'll talk about things.
Oh, okay.
This would have happened if Val was here. That picture would have been like...
Wouldn't it be funny if people thought that was a joke that we were doing? Like, we complained about how loud it was like this whole time, but really we just had it muted.
Meanwhile, Danny's wife in the next room trying to take a nap is woken up every 15 to 22 minutes.
Dude, yeah, these walls are thin, baby.
Yeah, baby.
Welcome to Around the Net. We're attempting to take a lighthearted look at what's been going on.
Did the wrong bumper. God damn it. Sick Dickie.
Thank you. Welcome to State of Play, where we attempt to take a lighthearted look at what's been going on in the Warhammer community in the last week. And this week was a pretty big one because we had a preview show where we had not just the launch of Age of Sigmar 4, which we're going to talk a little bit about later, not Age of Sigmar 4, but the launch part of it. But we also got a preview for some of the 40K related universe, including, I think, the sexiest models I think I've ever seen in my life. These beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Gene Stealers.
They're really pretty.
The new fluff or the new story is out for Necromunda. Hopefully, I didn't see any women anywhere, so I don't think it's going to offend anyone. But Hive Secundus is the setting for the next season of Necromunda. A hive that was orbitally bombarded and destroyed because they found a Gene Stealer cult infestation, and now the Gene Stealer cult is so mutated and so that the Hive fleet doesn't want it anymore. But Spirers do, and Danny Spirers are back. I forgot to put any pictures down of the Spirers, but man,
not important. These are so much cooler.
Are you a little disappointed? The rumor was when we first saw that little floaty skull that it was an enslaver, which is a race in the story of 40K, which we haven't seen yet. What are your thoughts on what those skulls are? Because they didn't really say.
That sure would have been cool, but this is okay too. I actually think this is a pretty unique modeling direction that they've taken here, and I really like the poses that these Gene Stealers are in, because they kind of look sneaky as opposed to like just charging at people like full bore.
My favorite, and I don't know, I should have done a zoom on this, Dickie, but I didn't. But the Gene Stealer on the left, the pale one, all of them have meth addict eyes. They're very like bruised and bloated and tired looking. So I really like, again, you're saying the artistic direction you're taking, where these are definitely Gene Stealers, but definitely something different.
Yeah, they're really.
This would be a really cool, like GSC army. Like if you were to use like pure strains in your GSC army.
Are they different scale though, or are they the same scale? Are they a bit?
I think
smaller?
they're on 32s.
Yeah.
They just have the creepy venom spines coming out their back.
I mean, I can deal with that.
And then something else that we added in there that I haven't added in there, but was a part of this release as well, was new human Gene Stealer cult troops, where they've used the Hive Ganger bodies and just have an upgrades proof for that, which I am a huge fan of, and I think it's going to see a lot of play in 40K. Because the way the 40K aesthetic for Gene Stealer cults really goes is like more of that mining aesthetic rather than like a planetary defense force. So getting all of these like really awesome Necromunda sculpts, getting them sort of in Gene Stealer cult is amazing. Yeah. Very excited really for the future in that. What kind of things? I know we don't super follow along with Necromunda. What do you want to see coming out of Hive Secundus?
Like what new stuff?
Yeah,
or like
we have Spirers, we have GSC. What else do we want to see?
Rat skins in there. I would love to see updated rat skins. I think those would be really cool. And then
Broodmother would be really nice, like a brand new one. That'd be really cool.
Give me some scabies.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Beautiful things going on. But there was also Warhammer 40k models that were previewed at this.
Oh,
when you look at the Genestealer cult army, Danny, Dickie, you know as much as I do that army is missing one thing more than anything else. There is a glaring hole. I mean, they have a whole bunch of units and a whole bunch of cool stuff, but what they don't have a lot of is singular characters. So it's really fitting that we got this Chad coming through here. Danny, thoughts on the big brain boy?
Well, it's like they took a
Zoe.
What is not a Primus? It's the other one, the Magus, and combined it with a Patriarch, and this is the model that they came up with. So, I mean, I don't know why if they needed another Psyker boy like this, but I'm sure he has cool rules. I think, yeah. Have you heard anything about what he does? Did they say?
The fluff describes him as taking all of the psychic energies from the cult and channeling them to like a last cannon-esque beam.
Okay.
So they go a lot of ways with it. What I'm hopeful for is it's something similar to the old sort of orc like psychic abilities, where the more boys that were around you, the more powerful your psychic powers were. Like if they could get like that mechanic back in with him, I think he would be like a really cool, unique addition.
Weird boys have that mechanic.
Oh, they do still? Fantastic. Shows how often I play against orcs, but I'm sure you'll teach me that soon.
Weird boys, but
thank God. But what I hope doesn't happen is it's just a single character model with one last cannon-esque psychic shooting attack. Because there is a lot of characters in the Genestealer cult. I mean, I know I said earlier that they really needed another character. That was just sarcasm because there's a lot there already.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see. I think the GSC book in general is going to have to do a lot of groundwork of making all of those characters relevant and kind of worthwhile taken. Or Danny, you have your slight disagree face on.
No, I agree with you. I think that makes sense. I just think it's kind of unneeded.
Yeah.
Like, you know what this army really needs is a centerpiece model.
Right.
Yeah.
So like a big drill tank would be really cool.
Yeah. Because I mean, I know we have like the horde aesthetic like to go through, and then GW does like to kind of build models and everything to the aesthetic of the army that they're going for. But something the Age of Sigmar does so well, every single faction has one big centerpiece model that you can put out on the table. Now you don't have to, but there's not a single faction in Age of Sigmar that doesn't have one just gorgeous centerpiece model that you can put out there. And like I said, I think you're right, Danny. Like, aside from that scenery piece with the big troll coming down, there's nothing really that stands out for them.
Which is discontinued and no longer in their codex. Or at least in the index. Maybe they'll bring it back.
It's a beautiful old drill too. It's just a shame that scenery never was really a thing.
Model. It was like a doomsday device, which was really cool.
Yeah, man. Now I want to just Genestealer cult army where everyone's painted up like AIM from the Marvel universe. It's a lot of 3D printed heads, though.
You could just make this guy like MODOK. That would be pretty great.
Yeah. Oh, because Well, I mean, I will say the paint job on him is just phenomenal, especially like the lower arm, the more human arm.
Yeah, with the blue tinge on the top. Like,
it has like a really beautiful fade. It's beautifully done.
Yeah.
A little barefoot action there too for those people who were into that sort of thing. I know Bretonians were popular. Now you can Genestealer cult. But yeah, generally Genestealers didn't need another character. But it's kind of fulfilling what GW said, where like every army would cut a new book and a new model or a unit at least, right?
Again, you know, the exciting thing about playing the Genestealer cult army, right, is going to be what the new detachments are going to do, as opposed to like what this new character does. I think that's probably a better way to look at it.
Yeah.
Do you think that's one of the high points of 10th edition? That people aren't necessarily looking forward, or the main priority isn't the characters and units that are going to come out with a book, but what the books do with existing models. Like, I think you're right in what you said, because I'm not necessarily looking forward to what models are coming out with the book. I'm looking at what I can do with an army when a book comes out.
Right. I think that's all right. I'm trying to put this in a positive way. It's like the only way that 10th edition has to differentiate like different factions or sub factions.
Yeah.
And so this is like the only way that you can really customize your army. And so I think that that's really appealing to a lot of people because they miss, I think, some of the crunchiness that 9th edition had. And so this is kind of a way that they can kind of get that back a little bit because they have access to, 4 or 5 times the number of stratagems that they had before the Codex released.
Like something good about it as well is the detachments really kind of dictate what units you're taking, which didn't happen before. Where everything, like every army had about the same 1,200 to 1,500 point core, and then the rest was just kind of like the garnish on top. And then it didn't really make a huge difference. Whereas now, the armies you're making have to be like so specific to take advantage of those detachments, and that is a great thing about 10th that I hadn't really thought about. So,
well, just wait till you see CSM books take the same amount of warp talons in each single detachment because they're so gosh darn good. But I'm sure that'll change with points changes. Ooh, doggy.
Do yourself a favor, head down to your local Games Workshop store, go to the Games Workshop web store, just order 30 warp talons and then just put them on eBay.
Maybe start with 15 and maybe
you're
grow
not playing
from
Chaos
there.
Space Marines, you're reselling for profit.
Coward.
Yeah, you're a coward. Another model that was released as part of this, we're not just getting my brain went away, Gene Stealer call this time. We're also getting Sisters of Battle.
Oh, we're getting women?
Whoa.
Yeah. Or as one person who messaged us said, this character is a man, which is a good burn back from the Custodes being women. I'm sorry I didn't respond to you. I didn't quite know how, because I wasn't really sure what the point was. But this Canonist model is coming out, very customizable, lots of different options. I think my favorite is the giant two-handed axe that she carries there.
Oh, the Eviscerator?
Yeah, beautiful model. Danny, thoughts about the fact that Sisters have a lot of jump packs now?
Well, they have 2 units with jump packs. I guess 3 if you count Celestine, and then 4 if you count this new character.
And then, like, looking at the boxes that are coming out, like the big army boxes, all sort of
jump. A lot of jump packers in that. Yeah.
Do you think this is going to be sort of how Sisters are going to be played in this edition, or this codex at least? Is that kind of deep striking, sort of fast attack movement of it?
I don't know. If Zephyrim get maybe a little bit better, you might see them a little bit more, especially if they have a character that can give them access to free stratagems. That could be very good. Or if she does something to shooting, she could be good for Seraphim instead of Zephyrim. I'm glad that they're getting an HQ with a jump pack that's not Celestine. Because this has always kind of been something that's been in the Sisters of Battle book, like Canoness with jump packs. So I'm glad to see her return, just kind of like the Primera Space Marine Captain with jump pack. This is kind of the female mirror to that release, right?
It just sort of makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful model. I enjoy it.
It is.
I like Sisters. I don't have the patience to put the models together. That's me. Moving away from 40K, getting backwards in time a little bit, if you will.
Wow.
Also, some 30K stuff was released. I didn't pull up any of the stuff that already exists in resin.
Yeah.
So, the tank, our friend Josh is very happy that instead of a 20-pound brick of resin, that tank is now just a hollow plastic shell.
Yep.
And then also, I think the Thalax are thicker now, but I think they look better for it. But this guy here, Danny.
I actually don't like the Thalax that much. I think they don't look as good as the resin ones.
Yeah.
No,
I like the thinner, kind of like more alien look to them than the chunky boys. So I'm excited to see. Like, well, first of all, I have like a ton of Thalax in resin, so I feel good that I have the ones that I need. And I didn't buy any Tyros armor conveyors, so if I ever deem to play 30K again, like this is all stuff that's waiting for me. I really like the plastic Thanatar. That shit looks great.
Yeah. This character though is going to see a lot of use in 40K.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is gorgeous. This is taking what is essentially like a stationary model They've given us so much movement with the little spider-like platform at the bottom and all the different kind of stuff. It's I think my favorite model of 40K or 30K for a long time.
Yeah.
We got Jeremy in the chat saying, I just wish they would make 30K AdMech units available in 40K. It makes no sense to me given what AdMech is supposed to be. Yeah, I can't say I disagree with you. It would be nice to see that stuff, but they've been doing their damnedest to separate those two games and make sure that the IP for them is separate and not like shared between the two games, which is sad to me in a bunch of ways.
It's so
just not custodies. They somehow get around that little.
Yes, yeah, they do.
Girls get it done. It's so sad that I don't know the reason, but they're putting such hard and set lines between ranges. You see it between 30K and 40K, where Leviathan dreadnoughts, the super heavy tanks, all this other stuff that went away. You saw now with AdMech the hard and fast line of no, this is never going to be in 40K. And then with Old World and Age of Sigmar as well, where we have all of these beautiful new Skaven models coming in. Can't use them really in Old World. And you have these beautiful Old World armies. Can use them in Age of Sigmar. And it blows my mind. I mean, I think there's such a good crossover. And the only reason I can think of separating it that granularly is if you're judging the performance of the games solely on departmental sales. And if that's all you're looking at, I think you're missing a whole, like, to me, the core of what Games Workshop and Warhammer is.
Yeah.
What's that, John? I'm sorry, Dickie.
No,
Dickie, go, because that'll let me formulate an answer while I finish this drink.
Perfect. I'm glad to give you time. We just need to bring all three parties, so like the super head office, the specialist, and the citadel. We just need to have a big luncheon and bring them all together and eat together and go, hey, we're all on the same team. Let's just buy models and play them because they're cool. What do you guys think? And so we could do that.
Going by what GW has said in the past, where they are a miniature company that sells has games, right? The idea is and for me, at its core, Games Workshop is about sharing excitement. So you're either excited to go play a game, like if I know I get to go play Danny soon, I'm excited I get that 3-hour experience, right? Or if I've just finished a beautiful new model, I'm excited to share that with people. If I could pull off a great conversion, I'm excited to share. And that's how the community grows, is in this like shared excitement of our kind of shared joy. And by delineating it so much and putting such barriers in between, you're kind of almost removing my ability to do that. Because I love like some of this 30K AdMech stuff. I mean, that's beautiful, but I don't have a lot of time to play 30K. So I'm not going to make an investment of like $100 or whatever in order to buy this tank to paint and show off. Because where am I going to put it? What am I going to do with it? If I had a chance of using it, then yeah. But I'm not incentivized to collect.
Like, John, that the Thanatar is like a perfect example of a centerpiece model, right?
Yeah.
And you're denying AdMech players the ability to have even one centerpiece model like of their army by not including it in like as an available option to take. I just think it's foolish. Like, you're leaving a lot of money on the table.
Like, look at this. This is just on the side. This is a little Necron Doomstalker. This is a push fit kit.
It is the best.
Can be a centerpiece model and one of the like 17 that army has, and is just, I think they've got away from, and this is going to be terrible because some chuds are going to agree with me on this point. They've got away from making cool stuff to share and sell and celebrate in order to look at a sheet or an Excel spreadsheet, plugging and chugging away. Thanks for that, Nick. I used that at work today. But just to be like, okay, this game makes this amount of money, and I can for sure say it makes this amount of money because there is no other games that can use that model. And like that kind of like, sure, that's data purity that people can dream of, but by going purely off of that, you're missing out on a lot of opportunities for other things. No. Anyway, soapbox over. Well, for now anyway, on that particular subject. Moving on, I pulled this because this was a beautiful thing for me and Danny. I wanted your take on this brand new lore. Legion Imperialis, the devastation of Talorn, opens with a 40-page section on lore that documents the transformation of Talorn at the hands of the invading Iron Hands force. Danny, Warhammer community officially announcing Iron Hands now traitors?
Yeah, John, it's obviously not a mix-up between them and Iron Warriors.
Absolutely, that's impossible.
Established fluff for this conflict.
Huh.
Maybe this is talking about the Iron Hands bringing this world into compliance instead of focusing on the heresy. Even though I know it says Warhammer Horus Heresy on the top of the book. This is like, it's part of the book's Horus Heresy, not part of the conflict Horus Heresy, if that makes sense.
Right.
I just want the lore to start in this book with Iron Hands coming down and be like, okay, look, I know there's a galactic-wide civil war going on right now, but let's talk about your TPS reports because they have not been coming through in an accurate enough setting.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get you guys to work on the weekend. Sorry.
Jeremy coming in the chat again, he said if they keep up the internal competition, one-page rules or Ravage Star are going to take their market share. I would say I disagree with that. I've looked at one-page rules. So. I've read it over. I could give less shits about one-page rules than GW can do about some of its older specialist games. Looking at you, Gork and Morka. But there certainly will be some apathy because 40K has such a defined and passionate player base, showing them things in 30K that are essentially 40K adjacent. There's very little separation between the two. Is just going to annoy them. It's not going to have them play Horus Heresy. No one's going to look at the ABAG and be like, that's what I needed to start playing this game. It'll just annoy them. They can't do it. Anyway. Yeah. Speaking of chuds, man, you guys are doing great with just random transition things for me. It's fantastic. This post caught my eye in Heresy posting. It's like, given the circumstances of what's going on, plus the statements from Trench Wars developers who have made it clear that they'd rather go for the alphabet community, I want to ask, how realistic is it if we did a project on Kickstarter that we as a community would fund? Of course, someone would have to take the lead in that. Someone like, I think that a lot of people could have good ideas. What this is referring to, you guys might not have heard. About a month ago now, GW announced that there'd always been female custodians. It was a little thing, flew pretty under the radar. Enraged some people. And it moved them towards a Kickstarter game by Thomas Perenin from Mordheim fame, and also Warhammer Fantasy. I think there's some art by John Blanche in there as well, for a Kickstarter game called Trench Crusade. The premise of the game, it sounds dope actually. It's during the Crusades, actual demons in hell opens up, and then this is now World War I time. It's heaven versus hell in the trenches of wherever, and there's a bunch of very grimdark, very things like that. Problem is the chuds kind of looked at the setting, well, like, this is the perfect game for us. And then when the community said you are not welcome here and kind of kicked them all out, they got kind of upset about it. So this guy proposed making the own game. That's about as concise as I can make it there. All right,
okay.
Any other pointers, notes?
No, I'm not familiar with. I thought that was a video. I thought Trench Wars was a video game.
And I think Trench Crusade is what this guy meant, which is a Kickstarter game. Just to give you like an idea of the level of grimdark on this, one of the factions cloned Jesus in order to use his shit to make other people like superhuman soldiers and stuff, and then they keep them all like locked up. I think there's like 7 different ones. So very grimdark, very cool like premise, but again, tried to be invaded by chuds. The chuds were kicked out. Now they're trying to make their own game. So I thought, who better to help develop a game for these people than people with no idea who just consistently make fun of everyone and who have Danny and Dickie's side failed at life. So first up, we want to talk about setting. We're talking about the perfect game. In fact, let's talk about what the customer base is going to be for this game. Danny, who are we aiming this towards?
John, the people that we're aiming these games towards are people who just, they really want to live in like the early 1940s. They want to experience the like fascism firsthand and in person.
Okay.
And they want to be a part of that movement that helps to destroy, cultures, other people, like that kind of stuff, and make sure that only their vision remains and no other vision of anybody and no other vision of anyone else.
Okay. Perfect. So for this setting, are we going just like straight alt history 1940s? Are we going futuristic setting, which is just sort of the 1940s with guns? Or they had guns then. What am I talking about? There's a World War. 1940s with like laser weapons and stuff. Or like an alternative past fantasy setting with 1940s tones.
Yeah. I think, John, people are more excited about the futuristic setting than there are about a fantasy setting just in general. Unfortunately, that's not the way that I feel, but I get why people are excited about that concept. I think this setting is purely one world that is the outpost of humanity against the rest of the universe.
It's humanity's last stand.
Right.
I love that. That's fantastic.
Mhm.
Could it be not even a world, but like a moon?
It could be a rebel moon for
A rebel
all I
moon.
know.
A
Like,
rebel. Man.
Yeah. A Confederate moon.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, so
You could
I
jump
like that.
General Lee into orbit and then get to the moon. Be like a Fast and Furious.
Because after this, I'm going to start a Kickstarter and it'll get funded before I say I can't produce it. So we have a Confederate moon.
Yeah.
Surrounded on all sides. You can hear me typing.
Yeah, John, they're surrounded on all sides by what they consider to be aliens that are infringing on their rights illegally
Yeah.
based on Earth law and custom. And this is a world of laws, John.
It's a world of laws.
It's a world of laws.
Is it a world of claws?
It's a society, John.
Oh, Jeremy says there's already a game for them, Conflict 47.
That's not what we're talking about.
Look, I
in the
can't
future.
monetize.
That's in the past.
I can't monetize Conflict 47. I can monetize this. All right. So we have our Confederate moon.
Mhm.
It's in the center of the galaxy.
Yep.
And then around them, on all
Obviously.
sides, there's different sectors of evil that are trying to encroach on them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's describe. This might help us. Who's the primary antagonist?
No, John, I'm not doing this. No, the primary antagonist obviously is these aliens that are really short on resources, John. They've been searching the galaxy over and over. They've had all kinds of, they're fleeing from various different intergalactic like wars. They're basically refugees, and they want to come to Earth because Earth has a lot of really nice resources.
Mhm.
And Earth has in the past, welcomed a lot of alien species. So there is some integration, but not really. Like, they're kind of in. Have you ever seen what's that Neil Blomkamp movie? The District.
District 9?
19?
Or is it District 13 or something?
I don't know. Whatever the name. Whatever.
Yeah.
The number is. So yeah, they live in kind of areas like that. These aliens do. Yeah.
Okay. So our heroic.
John, but I want you to know
Yeah.
you can't play any of those factions. Those are non-player factions. You can only play as humans. That's the only way that this game exists. It's also really important to know that this is purely a single player game.
Yeah, I was going to say, it must be a single player game.
You want me to talk about some of the mechanics of the game? Because I've really thought about this.
Nobody care. Like, let's move on to gameplay then.
Fuck, man. I'm in. I'm buying the starter box.
Before you go into gameplay, you mentioned this earlier, so I want to bring this up.
Yeah.
for our human faction, the game's only playable faction.
Yeah.
What is this? What are some centerpiece models for humanity?
Yeah, John. You've got the standard bearer. He's really important. He's got to wave that flag to let everyone know that it's humans.
Yep.
And then you also have big dude with a machine gun and a cigar. That's an important piece.
Yeah. Got to have it.
And then the Rock. Dwayne the Rock Johnson has sold his likeness to the Kickstarter as he is wont to do, but the key is part of his licensing deal is you have to paint his bottle of liquor in his hand like his brand of tequila. That's required. You absolutely have got to do that.
So instead of Liberty Prime and Fallout, we have Dwayne the Rock Johnson as a futuristic android robot.
He also has a big flag, John. That's also important.
With a large flag, which is just an American flag.
It's slightly different.
And that because there's only 48 states because they got rid of the bad ones.
No, John, there's hundreds of states.
There is.
Yeah, it's all across the world. The United States has spread freedom to, and they're all under the banner. So there's like 162 stars on the banner.
Who's the 69th state?
69th state? Germany. And that was a joke. It was really funny. Like everyone laughed.
add laugh track for edit. Just add laugh track.
All right. So to start the game, John, you set up. You play a game. You have 2,000 points of your army.
Okay.
Versus 2,000 points of the enemy's army. Now their models are much worse than yours, but they cost the same points.
Makes sense.
Fair.
But there's recursion, so they kind of keep coming back, as time goes on. Because what you do every turn is you draw an outrage card from the deck, and then that's the thing that's spurring these alien hordes into your territory, and you have to hold the line, John. They're not allowed to cross the center of the table. That's called, your half of the table. That's the line.
Get off my lawn rule.
That's your border.
Yeah.
So what are one of these outrages that people can pull?
Cancel culture strikes again was probably one of the worst ones that you can get, because you can't do anything. All you can do is complain about how you're being silenced, and how inclusivity has just ruined the army, in this case the humans. Yeah.
Is there like a thing called like grooming where D6 models from your unit are now the enemy's models?
Yeah, that can happen too. It's that's called get woke, go broke, John. That's what that's what the
real danger
is.
Okay. So one player game.
Yeah.
You can't actually buy any models for the opposing force.
You can buy models,
you
just play with yourself, John. That's a really key part of the game is you playing with yourself.
So what are some key units from the opposition faction? Really happy we're recording this.
Well, John, the majority of their models are female. I think it's really important to note that. Like, obviously, you knew that was going to happen, right?
That makes sense.
Is it really important that the models that are female have no defining feminine aspects? Like just regular armor, not the pressed boob armor and stuff.
No, John. No. These have massive boob armor. What? What are we talking about here? What kind of game is this? Is this a game for? Well,
for single men,
but like you. Oh man, yeah. Anyway, so you've got them. You've got the Alphabet Mafia. Those guys are pretty powerful. That unit's really nasty. I mean, I could go on, John, but these names are unflattering. They've decided to name some of them after a lot of racial slurs, but they're written in the book, so you can read about them all you want and talk about them with your friends. Make sure to do it a lot in public.
Yeah. Well, what's really important, though, with the launch of any successful Kickstarter or game are the starter box contents. So, Danny, Dickie, what comes in my starter box of... I'm trying to think of a good name for this. Keep going. I'll think.
Well, One of the Kickstarter exclusives is a really nice hat.
A regular baseball hat.
Yeah, it's red.
Well, at least I know what your parents are getting you for Christmas.
This game, John. They're getting me this game.
This game, yeah. So yeah, you get a hat.
You get a hat.
Yep.
You get some dice.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, this game uses whippy sticks to measure.
Oh, can this game use Wingdings dice? Because then we can say that's why we're not making them.
Yeah, John. Of
Because-
course, these dice are only usable for this game. So the symbols relate to various different things on the unit's card. So like you can't use other dice for this game. You could only use the special dice.
That's fair. That's fair. What is the standout elite unit from the starter box?
Oh, for the humans?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, John, I mean, it's the Space Marine.
Just a regular 40K.
Just a 40K Space Marine model.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
It's slightly different for intellectual property reasons, but not really.
The shoulder pads are on backwards.
Yeah, it's like a Ravage Star miniature, John. That's basically what you're getting.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah.
But it's nice quality. Just
Yeah.
like Ravage Star miniatures
Nice.
a beautiful quality, yeah.
are. Yeah, they're just
love it.
direct
Lifetime
copies
membership.
off of Games Workshop stuff. So, yeah.
What are some of the most dangerous units for the non-playable factions?
Oh, the bankers, John.
The bankers?
The coastal elites.
Their space lasers are just they're really good. No line of sight needed.
Antifa.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
Yeah. I mean, it's just direct copies off of real life, John. Really is what these are. But they've kind of made them into aliens.
That makes sense.
Perfect.
But they're aliens, you know what I mean?
But like in the same way that Spock is an alien, where it's just a
Right.
regular person with some weird ears.
Yeah, so they've got like just some weird forehead ridges or like pointed ears or like a bunch of piercings. Like that one chick on Deep Space Nine.
Oh, beautiful. I gotta go watch Deep Space Nine. Guys, if you want to buy this game, let us know so we can block you from our channel.
God, we should never.
Moving on away from this, I want to point out this gentleman.
No, this segues really well, John, with that last thing. Because
I told
the
you,
same kind
I
of
worked-
consumers that want that game also want this kind of content, but they just don't think they do.
I worked on my segues this week. This man is Claudio Castanelli. He is a professional wrestler, and he is, Danny, no shit, 3 years older than us.
Yikes.
In what is the most depressing sentence I've ever said. He's insanely strong.
He looks young.
And him and other professional wrestler, Kip Sabian, went to Games Workshop HQ to demonstrate AOS Spearhead for the Age of Sigmar 4.0 launch box.
Oh.
And the stream was met by Dickie.
It was bad. It was a bad stream.
Why?
So this is a screenshot from the stream here.
Yeah. The lighting was awful. The color correction. Like,
Look at those shadows.
I'm going to get so nerdy stream here.
Yeah.
And the color
Well,
correction
one
was
second here,
bad.
though, Dickie, because Nurgle Matt said that Claudio is probably not that strong. I'm a big professional wrestling fan. I've seen Claudio can bench press deadlift 500 pounds.
Weak.
And yeah, yeah, sorry. That's
Was he a little guy, John? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, well, maybe, yeah, he's a freaking there's a show Warhammer that they take. The people who've held have said is like 80 pounds or something like that. And at the start of the stream, he lifted it up like it was just nothing.
Like Galmoraz?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
But anyway,
Good
Dickie,
for
I'm sorry.
him.
Get nerdy about stream stuff.
Okay, so I guess they didn't remember how small this board was. So it's tiny, the little play mat that they use. They didn't color correct it. They didn't size check it. They didn't look at their camera angles. They decided not to light it. It was brutal. It was really tough to watch. And I love Paul and I love Adam, and I really want to support them. But man, it was really tough to watch for sure.
They got quite the beating over social media by their commentary there. Why do you think that is, Dickie?
Well, they did the one thing that I know myself and Val, for that matter, have been asking GW to do forever, is add mics to players, and they did, thank goodness. But they forgot to tell them, so they decided just to almost blow right through when they were talking. Also, these lovely wrestlers, I don't know if they played the game at all. So it was just basically, if you went to a GW store and you said, "Teach me how to play this game," literally that's what they streamed. It was tough to watch.
But there's ways of doing that aren't incredibly painful. And this was obviously designed to promote Spearhead, which is a way to play Age of Sigmar, where you only need the Spearhead box, very similar to Combat Patrol for 40K.
Yeah.
But the production, and I know like the Honest Wargamer was very critical of it. As it should be, like even just looking at the shadows on that screen there.
Rob was critical of something? No fucking way.
It happens.
That
and
doesn't
this
sound
drove
like
it to him. I just feel bad.
They keep giving him ammo like this, and Jesus.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
So what does this do for the game? Because like I said, I watched it a little bit, but I have no interest. Because the thing is, you're having people, you paid, because these wrestlers didn't do it for free. So you paid 2 celebrities to come play your game to gain a different audience that isn't 40K. And you advertise like chicken steak and you got chicken shit from all the screen there. What would have been the right way to do it, Dickie? I know you're a bit of a stream master.
Pre-recorded stream. I mean, a pre-recorded video is probably how I would have done it. Edited the crap out of it, make it look fantastic, and present it really well. Make it fast and punchy is how I would have done it. And entertaining would probably be the first word I would have used. Make it.
It's crazy. The professional wrestlers whose sole job is to be entertaining and to talk, they didn't maximize that at all.
Yeah, they had the commentary guys talk about it, and like I love Paul and I love Adam so much. They were my original stream guys, and I'll go to the grave loving them. But it's just, why not let the wrestlers talk about their game experience of playing it at that time, right? So I think it's just a missed opportunity, just a really unfortunate stream, to be honest. And I don't think it'll necessarily hurt the game at all. I just think they could have presented it in such a better way.
Danny, do you think this is going to stop them from doing something similar in the future? Like,
no, John, because I think they did some stuff right here, right? I think they got an excellent commentary team. Mm-hmm. So that's a step in the right direction, like Dickie was pointing out. But also the fact that they put on these pictures of the players, like in the background of the scores. I want to see more of that stuff. Like, if you're a big time 40K player, like, let's get your headshot in the picture. Like, maybe doing something cool. Like this guy, like the guy who's playing Stormcast, I don't know, the wrestler guy. He's got no shirt on in that picture. That's like a fucking power move, dude.
That is just his wrestling picture. And if I go back here, you'll see why he doesn't wear a shirt.
Sure. But you know, John, maybe I want to get a picture like that, like without a shirt on, and have that be my avatar for when I play. I don't know. I think it would look good.
It is a good idea, because a lot of streams and the way they do the cameras, there is a disconnect between the player and the audience. Possibly doing that. So there's good things from that. Like I said, my concern is the money was invested to make this happen. Like I say, these people aren't cheap. They came in. There is a passion for Warhammer within the wrestling world. As we've seen, like Shayna Baszler's a wrestler. She has a lot of 40K themed attire. Samoa Joe is another one who reads the books like nonstop. So it's a good crossover. It's just, it was poorly executed. What I really hope is that GW can see that this was just a rushed production, and that it could be so much more than what it was, and not to just give up on it because it got shat on by literally everyone.
Yeah,
you hope.
I really do. When I look at the stream team, I really feel like they're stuck in the past. They're stuck back when Val and I did it. Like, what was that, 2-3 years ago, when we started that, and they haven't really transitioned. They haven't really moved past that. But when you look at a guy like Joe, I love Joe, and he continues to innovate, and he continues to do evolve and change the dynamic and add new things, but keep the game the forefront of what we're watching. And I mean, GW, unfortunately you gotta step your game up, because someone's doing it a lot better, and there's a lot of people getting into it now that are going to be doing a lot better than you. So wake up.
I think Warhammer is in a place where there's a need for Warhammer Plus to show a weekly battle report, be that 40K, Age of Sigmar, Old World. There needs to be a high quality weekly stream, and I even think there has to be something produced to the quality of play on tabletop. Because sorry, go.
So I will say their in-house battle reports, the recorded ones, they're actually good. They're actually quite good if you take the time. They're very narrative, and that's their whole dynamic, and I get it. But if you look at the tools and the cameras that they're using, they're doing a good job at those battle reports. But you're right, they only do them when generally a new codex comes out or something like that, and they're kind of few and far between. But you're right, they should be doing weekly streams.
Which, like, I get it, because it is work to put on a stream. But back to what I said earlier about GW at its core being about sharing excitement for something you're passionate about. Like, if I was to strip everything away from Warhammer, in its core, Warhammer is something to get excited and passionate about and share with others. And just to do a weekly battle report, shit, even if you do a weekly combat patrol, you want to keep it small, you want to keep it short, just do that. Ignore, there's going to be people being like, you got on turn 2 during the shooting phase of Paul, you rolled 37 dice when you should have rolled 38. Know your own games are like, who gives a shit? Like, you turn comments off for stuff as it is. Just that kind of passion, and I think that's what's missing for me right now from Games Workshop, is there's no passion there. We're releasing stuff, we're seeing cool models, we're getting all these cool things going out, but where's the connection? Like, I really connected with Imperial Knights when the designer of the Imperial Knights, and God, his name escapes me now, completely undercutting my point, but when he shared his excitement with it, and he got to work on that, and it looked really cool, and there's no shared excitement from a Sunday post of these are the pre-orders that are up. And I think that's an area where they can really improve. Andrew in chat, thank you. I keep thinking about the ending to Young Sheldon, though I enjoyed the Warhammer Plus matches, but it's not a whole lot. Spoilers, I haven't watched any of Young Sheldon, so please don't ruin it for me. Soon. We'll see.
Are you going to watch it?
No. My wife will have it on in the background, and I will assume it by osmosis. But soapbox off again. I don't know why I'm soapboxing so much this week. I apologize. This is going to be
a lot of laundry.
A lower rated episode than normal. It turns out you can double your viewing figures if you just put female custodies in the title. Who knew that Outrage did that? This came up this week as well. Customer notice. Woke Workshop is what I'm calling it. As part of plans to improve our sustainability, carrier bags will be phased out of Warhammer retail stores from June 2024.
Oh, man.
Please bring your own bag with you for future in-store purchases. Guys, what is your thoughts on this awful, awful thing?
I mean, I do think it's stupid.
I just think people are going to see my nerdy purchases now, because I'm totally going to forget a bag every time I go. I'm going to be like walking out with that stupid box going, damn it.
Like, is this a method to cut costs, or are they trying to like just show that they're environmentally conscious, selling boxes of plastic miniatures and resin? I mean, these are all petroleum products. Like, what are they actually doing with this?
I believe this is an effort to cut costs.
Okay.
Which dressed up in a fancy dress of sustainability. The sustainability isn't the environment. It is, in fact, the wallet of the people who have to pay for the bags.
Crazy.
But
it's it's almost like, that this kind of cost cutting, and they're also bumping up prices. Seems like, but they had record profits every year.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Gotta save the environment for your bag full, by your arm full, I should say, of petroleum oil-based miniatures. Fantastic. Andrew and Chad with a very good point. I'm cool with it, so I can get a brown bag and sneak it past my wife. That is a very good point. Okay, cool.
Makes sense, I guess.
No complaints. That is a fantastic point. We'll just go with that now.
Yeah, I'll give that one to you.
This guy showed up in a bunch of Warhammer groups. He was promoting the fact that he plays Warhammer and shared what armies he plays. Also, his fitness channel, you might be shocked to hear. But Danny, Dickie, I want you to close your eyes. Imagine, all right, you're at a major. You had a really good first day. You're positive. You're going into day 2. It's round 4. You walk up to the table, open your eyes. This man's your opponent. Describe your game experience.
Well, first of all, I'm going to ask you if he's the World Eaters player who does all the push-ups at the table. And
it is not. I checked.
Oh, okay. Well, if he was, I would give him a giant high five.
Yeah.
Number 2, I'd ask him like, I'd tell him, I'd be like, look, man, I don't really understand why all these people who are entering the hobby have to post pictures like of themselves rather than the miniatures that they paint. So, like, what's the deal with that? Are you just trying to get like attention?
Oh, that's a deep equality burn, and I love it so much.
You mistress.
The Vic, no. Dickie, this is your round 4. What's your game like?
By
the way, Danny, I'm imagining him to be legitimately half your height.
Yeah.
No, he's probably tall. Look at him.
Oh man, I'm doing so many fist bumps and like chest bumps with this guy, like during the game. It's gonna be a good experience for sure.
Yeah.
Do you think he likes hugs?
Oh my god, I'm giving him the biggest man hug he's ever had in his life before the game.
He has to use your dice because his muscular hands keep crushing the dice that he has.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They're all steel dice. Like,
if they're not steel, they just melt. I love this picture, and I love. Danny pointed out World Eater guy, who's a World Eater player in the lower 48 in America here.
I need that guy on the show.
I need him. I just want to send me a video of you doing your dance. That's all I want. Because
I want a long interview. I want like an hour-long interview about his process. I just need it in my life.
Just do it. Set it up. We'll do it. It'd be fantastic. Next up here. This was from last week. The culture war has come for Warhammer 40,000. Join now. I'm going to ask you, what is their specific conversation at this exact moment?
I'm really sick of science fiction games ruining our fantasy culture.
Yeah, they're tunics.
But Danny, we haven't done this in a while, but Danny, could you describe for the audio listener, what are we looking at right now?
Yeah, okay. So there's 2 men. They're sitting at a table. It looks to be some kind of a painting table behind a single laptop. Now, they're both dressed as, I don't know, they have like medieval, like, I don't know what that thing is called, like,
tunic.
What is that, a tabard? And like the other guy has like some weird peasant thing on. I don't know. Whatever. Look, I'm just look. I'm not in your culture. I don't know what that
you
stuff
will address
is.
Me by my cosplay rank.
Behind them, though, it appears to be very cheap shelving units. So I can only tell that this is like a real cultured couple of guys here. One of them has no glasses, but looks like he cuts his own hair, and the other guy has glasses and a neck beard. So you know that they're really like solid commentators. They're probably know exactly what they're talking about and experience, Western culture in exactly the same way that most other people do.
Absolutely. Jeremy in chat beautifully says, all I see in that pic is a very uncomfortable actually conversation.
Yeah. I feel like that dude is inches away from shoving those glasses up his nose.
Right now, they're looking through 1987's Rogue Trader to look for examples of the word her in there.
6.
We're on hour 5 of the live stream. Still can't find any on page 3.
Thank God.
Yeah, who knows? That was a beautiful thing, but we've had enough joy right now. Let's have a little quick.
We've had joy.
eBay prices redacted.
Oh.
I'm not going to shit on it this week because it's popular. Greetings, bargain lovers of YouTube. It's eBay Prices Redacted, where we challenge the breadth of our contestants' miniature knowledge. Today's mission, we're going to accurately assess the sacred value of the sold items I found for searching for the term Warhammer launch box.
Nice. Great.
Based on, of course, the launch box that Danny so beautifully came up with our Kickstarter Chudhammer 50,000. Or I guess Chudhammer 420. That's the only way to go.
Yeah.
It's a better title. Available on Kickstarter soon. Nothing will come. I'm kind of happy Val's not here this week, Dickie. If I'm going to be real, and you're kind of our standing guest because there's a lot of fantasy here. And I know.
Val's probably looked at all of them.
He's already looked at
every entry. Yeah.
So we're good to go. But anyway, our first contestant hailing from Moscow, Idaho. He's a law graduate who's extremely rad. Is Daniel J. McDevitt IV.
Hi, John.
Hi. And his opponent, he yells at 40K players to get out of his yard. But that's just because he's incredibly hard emotionally. Is Dickie. Yeah.
John, have you ever seen Dickie cry?
For the audio listener, Dickie did a face waterfall similar to the movie Face Off. But no, I've never seen Dickie cry. I've seen him pass out on a couch after Val yelled at him a little. Never cry.
I don't remember him yelling. I just remember passing out.
I was going to say the Canadian government removed your tear ducts to make you more efficient in battle.
That's how they pay for socialized medicine. Our first item here is a Warhammer High Elf Army box set. It's missing one model only, no book. Now, it doesn't say what the model is, though.
It's 100% the limited edition Banner Standard pair for sure.
Danny, as our regular champion here, we're going to have you go first, so Dick, you can go off it here.
$300, John, is my guess.
$300? Insanity. Dickie, is that higher or lower?
$350, sir.
$350. Well, the correct price is, in fact, $230. Making Danny closer. That's a bargain, which also makes me think that it was, in fact, the
limited edition Battle Standard.
Limited edition missing. Yeah, absolutely.
Almost certainly,
without doubt. Next up, we have Warhammer Fantasy High Elves Army box. Oh no, that's the same one. What am I doing?
No, that's a different army box.
How much was it?
$560? I don't know.
Oh shit, Dickie, you got it right on the money. I know what I'm doing here.
Yep.
It's a good time. The actual next one. Warhammer 40,000 Storm of Vengeance. Where are we here? I gotta look. Storm of Vengeance 1997 box set complete. Oop.
What does that stand for?
Out of box, I imagine, which is strange because it's a book. Or was it a box?
I think it was a box
set. Yeah.
Because it was a campaign, right?
It was a campaign. You're right. So Storm of Vengeance, very Dark Angels focused. For our second edition,
orcs, right?
Yep, second edition of 40K, long time ago. How much did someone pay for a 1997 box set complete? Oop. Oh, now Vic's asking what's in that.
Who knows?
Who knows?
But it's
Does it
box
come with
set.
the tokens or the plat or the
Well, it does say complete, Danny.
Yeah, it does say complete. All right.
It does.
All right. So my guess is going to be
So I will say
$200.
Storm of Vengeance features Warhammer 40,000 battles depicting Dark Angel's defense of Mistext. Now, they're led by Master Belial to contain the orcs' initial onslaught and reclaim the world from their savage greenskin foes. If the Dark Angels fail, the galaxy will quake before an orc wow of unimaginable power. So it contains a scenario book, Space Marine briefing booklet, orc briefing booklet, a power plant card building, and a warp portal card template.
Oh, it's like lame. Okay.
I'm going to keep my bet at $200. I don't think it's that much though.
Okay. I'm going to say 150.
Dickie says 150. The right answer is
Whoa!
Right on the money, Dickie.
right on the money. 150 for Dickie for that there.
That's beautiful, dude.
I'll never
Beautiful. You pulled it up to one each. If one of you could win definitively in the next two, that would be super helpful. So me ruining it would not be an issue.
Nope.
Next up, we have Warhammer 40K 10th edition Leviathan box, new sealed, because it's, caps locked.
Jeez, what's the retail on this thing?
Nothing is not available anymore, Dickie. It was a launch box.
No, you can find this thing, I'm sure. I don't know, like $300.
300. Danny.
250.
250 for Danny. The right answer is 220.
Oh.
And Danny, I really need you to win this next one.
Okay.
So next up
So hard.
is Deathwing Assault. The most recent box here. It is the Deathwing troops for the new 10th edition Dark Angels and the Belial, who is only available in that box. How much did someone pay for this launch box?
Can I ask when this sold?
Yeah, you absolutely can. This sold April 28th.
Oh. Recent.
Okay. So it was out already.
Yes.
$175
$175 from Danny. Dickie, how much do you think Deathwing Assault was?
Don't forget there's a limited codex in there, Dickie. That's why I feel like I raised the bid on that. Dark Angels players are idiots. I know because I am one.
Because I am one. 200.
The correct answer. $264.
Oh my god. Okay. Look.
Meaning,
Dickie, amazing.
Dude,
yeah,
I
I didn't draw technically
Oh.
because I ruined it with an extra one that wasn't needed.
Fair enough.
But anyway, and also Vic in chat got it right on the nose as well because we're ignoring the six.
Nice. Yeah.
Nice.
Good job.
Good
How
job.
much was
yeah.
shipping?
Shipping was
$34.
$34 from the UK.
That was really
bad.
close.
This guy
And that's
really
a
just
good
wants to get
price
rid of
for
that
shipping.
box.
Yeah.
So this is the first time shared spoils. We're not doing a tiebreaker because it's already 7:15 and where I am. And that's very late from where you are, Dickie.
Yeah.
That's been a beautiful Prices Redacted.
Yeah.
So, couple things of housekeeping before we leave.
Oh.
We're going to ignore this one here real quick because we will not see you next Tuesday.
Oh. Well, but why?
We will be taking next week off as Danny beautifully glides from his home in Moscow, Idaho,
All right.
to his new home in Anchorage, Alaska. And
I've
while
got to
Danny,
dodge those forest fires on the way up here, Dickie. The ones in Alberta.
Sorry about that, brother.
That's okay.
and while we could ask Danny to make detours to find a hotel room with Wi-Fi or an ability to, let's just take the week off.
Danny, but there's free Wi-Fi at the Tim Hortons, eh?
You know I'm going to be there every morning.
Yeah, but
and then also I'm going out in an RV all for Memorial Weekend, and I don't want to ride.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But after that, there will be some cool things happening. So we hinted at it a little bit before. Over the summer, Mob Rules will be coming back at least once every 2 weeks. We'll see how we do, Danny. But we will be following Danny and I's progress through Stillmania, where we have I have a Necron army, Danny has an Orc army. Those lists are now locked. We are not changing them. In the first episode coming out, whenever Danny gets back up here, we're going to go through our list and our choices behind it and how we think it's going to perform over the summer. That's going to be Mob Rules on this channel, back just for the 3 people who asked me about it 6 months ago. And then, yeah, Grim After Dark still continues because we love doing this because Dickie feels like crap right now and he's still doing this. So, thank you, Dickie. Val was up at probably 3 a.m. your time helping Rob record their podcast Square Based, which is one of 2 fantastic Warhammer Fantasy old world based podcasts available for everywhere. All good podcasts are taken care of. Dickie, Denny, do you guys know like another really good old world based podcast?
That hasn't been recorded yet, part 2.
My bad. Yeah, we've got that Old World Charm. No,
it just rolls off your tongue so naturally. I love it.
Oh, well,
we got that. We got that Old
World
World Charm. I love that. I love the way you do it. I'm
make our magic, Dickie. That's really what it is.
What's the podcast called?
The World Charm.
The Old World Charm.
You're gonna kill me.
Yeah.
I think it's funny that I add funny sound effects to the show, but you guys actually don't listen to the show back, so no one would know. And the only person that laughs at it is Val. Like I added a fart sound the other day.
In Grim After Dark?
No, in Old World Charm. I don't need to add sound effects to this show at all. We're good.
There's plenty of
capped
fart sound adjacent things we say. Yeah.
But yeah, so I had fart sounds and beeps when someone swears, and I do like a cold open.
Beat me out on this show?
Yeah, oh yeah, all the time.
Fuck.
Whoa.
You're being censored, John.
Positive in chat though, Dickie aced the sound effects last episode, so good job.
Yeah,
so yeah, definitely check out that Old World Charm. Check out Square Based for all your old world opinions. We will see you back here 2 weeks from tonight. Danny, fresh and tired from driving up the Alcan. Is that what it is?
Well, maybe so. Part of it'll be in the Alcan. I'll probably have to go up the Cassier or Cassier.
There's a big fire.
But if you live in that area of Canada, track him down. He drives a Super. It'll be fine. He'll really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
Please, we'll be back.
My father.
Full compliments 2 weeks from tonight. And then, I forgot the ending. How does the end go? Someone do it.
See you next Tuesday.
But next Tuesday, the one after.
Not next Tuesday, the one after. Right.
There's 2 ends in that one.